Hi, it's Brandon McIntosh doing the milling speed calculator, project 2 for VBA. Okay, so on the first worksheet, the data worksheet, it will show the values in the table, the operator name, and the material that is being used for the milling operation, as well as the open data entry form shape that is linked to a macro that will enable the user form to be shown. In the second worksheet, there is stock sizes and increment values that are used in the user form in list boxes and in combo boxes. Lastly, there's the test procedure and possible errors on the third worksheet. So opening up the user form, the first thing you'll see is the enter operator name. That I will leave as Brandon McIntosh, but you can type whatever you want in there. Minimum stock sizes, you can either type in a specific size that you would like or choose one from the predetermined list. Same with the maximum stock size, just as long as it is larger than the minimum, or yeah, the maximum must be larger than the minimum stock size in order for the calculation to work. However, there are if statements in play to help block those errors from happening. Now, another combo box, there is the stock size increments. This determines how many values will be placed in your table. You can choose a number yourself, or again, determine or use one from the predetermined list. Then moving on, we have the selected chip load, 1 thou or 2 thou. Then moving on to the list box that has the selected number of teeth on your cutter. And lastly is the select material, which will determine your cutting speed for the spindle speed calculation. The select material is also linked to a case statement that will fill colors in this based on what material you have selected. So with all of this selected, I will calculate a speed and a feed rate. Then using the calculate speed and feed button again while changing values, I can find new ones. Can move this to 2.5. The yellow reset worksheet will clear all of the data that is in the stock size, spindle speed, and feed rate table, along with the operator and manual material boxes up top. Okay. And actually, if you do not input, say for this one, I will not input the chip load and calculate, there are statements, if statements in place that will place default characters or default values to those variables in place of the ones that are chosen here to sort of push on that calculation without forcing an error. But there is a warning that comes up for prompting you to select something, reset, and select, and then calculate again. Now, moving on to the code. Here is just the basic user form VBA editor. Over to the macro, this is just showing the run form that I have that will, this macro is linked to the shape to activate the user form without having to go into the VBA editor every time. And, all right, explaining the code a little bit, there is some global variables at the top. Here is the initialization of the user form, and the additions of all of the numbers for the list box, the chip load option buttons and cutting speed option buttons, or material option buttons that will determine the cutting speed. They will all have variables that will be determined by which of those option buttons is clicked that will be used for the calculation. Now moving down here, there's this is the calculate speed and feed section, where well, actually this is more the if statement section that's providing default values and initializing the warning subroutine in case the values are less than what's expected, or the maximum is less than the minimum, or yeah, option buttons not being chosen. So yeah. Now down here there's a do while loop for the calculations to be running, and the iRow variable to continuously increment, while the stock minimum size that is also being incremented is less than or equal to the stock max size. And after that, there is a case statement involving the material type, and that that variable used in cutting speed is then used to determine the colors of the cells that are filled. Down here, there's the warning on and warning off subroutine that I call back many times in the if statements, and I've used a few times in reset for warning off. Then down here there's the cancel button, which is just a simple end command, and the reset program buttons, which are used to clear all of the contents and colors of the table to bring it back to a stock setup. Yeah, thank you.